So could you give us a brief overview of what is happening right now in Sweden with the coronavirus outbreak?
Yes, I will. Here in Sweden, we have a situation with about 25,000 persons tested, and with 2,500 confirmed infected persons. And further, we have around 50 people that have died from the COVID-19 disease.
Please continue.
And we know now that the number of people infected in Sweden have outnumbered the number of people that have been infected in other countries and come back to Sweden. We had a large group coming from Italy, where they had been skiing and came back with infected. The national strategy for confronting this is to accept that we have a spread in Sweden. This is much larger than 2,500 because we are only testing specific groups. We are not testing widely. We are testing those in risk groups, and we are testing staff working in healthcare, in elder care, and in other positions where they are in contact with the risk groups. Obviously, this influenza is to some extent similar with the ordinary influenza we have, but it's different in two ways. We have no immunity in the population, and we have no vaccine. And this is the background of the strategy, because just as other influenzas, this group hits hard on the risk groups. People of age with other medical complications. We know that all the people that have died so far from COVID-19 have been in the risk groups and have had underlying medical issues. So the strategy at national level is to press down the peak of the infection so that it will not be higher. The number of people that need care will not be higher than the capacity of the health system, especially the capacity of the intensive care wards, and at the same time increase the capacity of these wards. This has a really big implications for the local self-governments and for regional self-governments, municipalities and regions. They play a very important part in Swedish life, and especially in providing welfare in Sweden. Regions are responsible for health care and public transportation. The municipalities are responsible for elder care, care of the disabled, school, both primary and secondary school, and the child daycare, which involves more than 90% of the children in Sweden. Part of that, things like rescue services, ambulance, and all the other things that need to be at hand: water, sewerage, solid waste management. And the idea is, of course, to make sure that the medicine against this coronavirus will not do more damage than the virus itself. So there's a need to maintain these services, to be able to continue to give health care, elder care to need without spreading further the infection to vulnerable groups. For municipalities and for health care, of course, to make sure that people working there could come to work and will come to work without being infected is of extreme importance.
So maybe you could just...
Unless many other countries, we have not been closing the primary schools or child daycare centers. because we know that then parents would have to stay home, and many people working in important functions would not be able to fulfill their tasks. As I'm working for the Swedish Association of Local Authorities and Regions, it might be important to say something about the role of such an association. Actually, the most important thing that was done at an early stage and is continued to be done is to bring the situation of the local and regional authorities to the national level, to the government, to state agencies, and then advocating for changes in regulations, legislations, recommendations, so that the possibility for municipalities to handle the situation is increased. One thing that was done early was to temporarily change the system for sick leave insurance. Now, people that stay at home for being sick or having symptoms will not lose money for the first day, which they would otherwise, thereby preventing the people that feel sick go to work, not to have an economic damage. And same way to not having a demand for a medical certificate for being sick after the 7th day of sickness. We don't want to bring sick people into healthcare during an epidemic. But also other aspects important for the local and regional authorities have been lifted, and the response of the government and the agencies, state agencies, have been also responsive, so to say. But our association is also an employees association, so they have been playing an important role in clarifying for municipalities and regions how they should act as employers in relation to their staff, and have also entered into agreements with trade unions on specific regulations during this period, which will make it easier to prevent spread of a disease and deal with the situation. Then the third role is, of course, the support to the members, to provide information, not information that's different from the recommendations from national agencies, but information that is more into what this means for the local and regional level. To provide areas for communication between municipalities, that was done rapidly, and there are now several online facilities for municipalities to share experiences, to ask for how others have done things. Also providing direct services, of course, in many different ways. During the weekend, actually, in cooperation with companies and with others, we set up a website trying to collect all the available tools for online education, for distance educations, making it available for the teachers. Because the secondary education and the secondary and university education is now done at distance, whereas the primary education is still done in schools. In municipalities, it's extremely important to prevent the spread of the virus in the services. Special care has to be done in the elder care. And still at the same time being able to maintain these services that are crucial for the elderly, for the disabled. And they have been using all available methods and ideas to make this possible. They have invited recently retired staff to come back to work. They have tried to reorganize activities. The regions responsible for healthcare, they have closed down their dental wards for other than emergencies, and then used protective gear that was in those departments in the intensive wards instead, and also using staff dental care in medical care. At the local level, we see a need to relay information to groups that have been difficult to reach by the national level information communication. And we see also that we have in groups that are not so good at Swedish or are living in more marginalized parts of society, we have a larger spread of the disease. And therefore, it's very important for municipalities to continue their efforts to spread the information on how to handle the situation. Also, as has been mentioned by Ukrainian colleagues, the importance of supporting the local companies is evident. This is a hard blow for small companies. First of all, for their cash flow, and therefore municipalities are paying the invoices earlier, and they are giving respite for the companies to pay their invoices to municipalities, and in other ways trying to facilitate for the local companies to survive this. We're talking about restaurants, we're talking about shops, we're talking about many different sectors that is highly affected. So that is basically the situation. We know that this will continue for still some weeks, but the hope is that things could be coming back to normal before summer.
Yes, we do hope too that the situation will be ending soon. The spread will be stopped. Well, thank you, Mr. Liljeström, for.
May I just say that
yes.
From my experience of working with the Association of Amalgamated Touring Promaders and from meeting with local politicians, I know that they are precisely as the local politicians work with all the courage.
Sorry, we lost.
Communities to overcome this situation.
Yes, thank you for sharing with us what are you doing within the how your association is working with the community of Sweden, and we Valentina Poltavets from the Association of Amalgamated Communities will be following you. So please stay with us within our live stream. But for now, we're very grateful for your comments and for joining in. Thank you.